Here we have my Mark II Jetta. It's got an AFP VR6 swap in it out of an '02 Jetta GLX. Is what I chose for my donor car. While I was building this car, I had some spare time on my hands, so I went ahead and I took the cracked dash out of it, and I made a hard shell dash. I was able to paint the color of the car, which I thought was neat. I had to rip the headliner out. It was crumbling. But when I pulled this motor and transmission and wiring out of my donor car, I wanted to keep all of the aesthetics. So I made sure that I ran the stock intake and everything. I wanted to be able to pull this thing apart from one car and literally place it in the other. Plus, I like the way it looks. Ideally, it isn't the most perfect, completely shaved car. As much appreciation as I have for those cars, I wanted to be able to drive this without having to wipe it down all the time. But right now, it's got an oil leak, so I can't have that. So we're going to go ahead and unfortunately have to pull everything apart to be able to approach what I feel is the rear main seal that's leaking. So right now I'm getting ready to start tearing the rest of the car apart. Right now I'm draining the power steering fluid and the coolant out of the car so I don't make a mess everywhere. As I continue to unfasten the front end so I can pull the radiator out and stuff, I'll be taking the wiring harness apart, laying it over, undoing the coolant lines and everything else to get the motor transmission out of here. With the upper intake plenum off, I was able to access the harness underneath the plenum and the few various little things that go around the top side of the engine, and then I can lay that out of my way. With all of that pretty much done, I just have a couple little tidbits with, again, coolant hoses. I have to undo the shift quadrant cable lines, and then I can leave that assembly alone. I could take the few bolts out of it to move it out of my way. And then, yeah, I should be able to go ahead and have a little bit more room to access the 6 nuts that are holding up the exhaust on this car, and then I'll be able to pull the entire assembly, transmission and the engine all out as one.
And the progress report is one side we've got an axle out of. Going to do the other side. Pull the nuts off the exhaust and then lift all of this out. It's gonna be great.
Just as I promised, one entire assembly, just had to remove everything attached to it. But with it out, now I can go ahead and clean up whatever I need to in the engine bay that I may have not been happy with when I put it together the first time, and I'll go ahead and tear this thing down.
There's the motor. I forgot some sockets to be able to take off the flywheel and everything so I can verify that the rear main seal is what's compromised on this and the reason for pulling all of this out. Again, the car ran really great everywhere. I just had an oil leak. So unlike other Volkswagens out there that do leak, mine do not. So reason enough for me to pull everything out. Once I pop that off, I'm really hoping it's just the rear main seal. Looks like it so far, so stay tuned. Car is pretty much almost back together. I mean, all the hard work and stuff is done. Many years ago when I put the motor together, when I put the rear main seal in, it was pinched, was letting oil out. It's the only leak I had after, again, building this car many years ago. Thank you to my good friend Tony for taking some time with me today to help me shim everything back together. And just going back through it now and again, of course, obviously, putting everything back together, all the wiring, putting just it all back together. So I'll take some pictures and some more video. I know this is a little broken up, but I am excited how well this car does run. And we'll be hitting the road soon, so stay tuned. So like I said, everything is back together. I just took it out for a spin not too long ago. Everything is running fantastic. I just wanted to show you the seal. In this, I don't know if you can see it, there is a pinched portion of that brown part on the inner side of the seal that was clearly split. So that's what was causing the oil leak in this. Otherwise, if we look underneath the car, nothing. Beautiful. It's nothing. So yeah, everything else turned out fantastic with this car. I know that some people are saying it's too much red because of what I did to the dash, but however, this car is for sale right now. I do have quite a few vehicles. This is one that I'm proud of, that is done. If any of you out there might be interested in it, I've got more content on this car, everything that I've done to it so far, and other than that, I'm sure I'll post a better video of me running and driving it later on. I might even be taking the wheels off of the Audi here and putting them on this car. So these tires are new, but they're very old. So we'll see what happens.